Hello and welcome to Boatrek Live. I'm PJ, and here with me today is Starfleet Boy, and we're going to talk about Star Trek
Star
Day
Trek Day. Hashtag Star Trek Day.
and a Happy New Year. So we got a few announcements, and we got some spoilers for Lower Decks, as well as we got a new trailer for Lower Decks and Star
the
Trek
mid-season
Discovery.
trailer.
Yeah,
which
the
is
mid-season trailer.
I'm
going to
gonna
talk
adjust
about
my
all that
lighting
stuff.
while we talk. It's okay.
Fathery's here in the chat.
Fathery!
How's it going, Fathery? Got our first viewer of the day. Yay.
Yay. Fathery, what did you think of Star Trek Day? I saw you got emotional. I loved it.
So we got the new logo for Star Trek Discovery.
Right I love it. I like the little across the V.
Yeah, it is better.
It's really cool. It's not too much different. Like, I don't have a Star Trek Discovery shirt or anything that has Discovery on it right now, but I have something somewhere. But yeah, I like it. It's not too much different, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. No.
Sorry, it was like where it says Star Trek, the whole Discovery thing was like that in season 1, I remember. But on the shirts, it says it in a font similar to that. Okay. Like that they were in the show, I think. The disco font, I'll call it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I'm Disco Boy tonight, not Starfleet Boy.
Disco Boy.
Disco Boy is here tonight. It's the Mirror Universe version of Starfleet Boy. Anything could happen.
Boy. So there will be mild spoilers for Discovery and Lower Decks. So you're warned. So here we go. I'm just going to pop this image up right here. We're going to have a minor guest appearance from a legacy character in Lower Decks. It's Q.
It's Q.
Oh, and another thing about Discovery. Apparently, Treksphere, I think, put this on Twitter.
Is that captain's rank?
Yes, it appears to be.
That's a spoiler I didn't want, but that's okay.
Well, okay. Well, it's in the trailer. We're going to look at the trailer anyway, so we're going to do
true. That. We'll see it. Yeah, I would have caught that too. I forgive myself for getting it in you.
That's like, I can imagine people not wanting to know about Q showing up in the show, but probably because he doesn't have a big role, they think it's like, okay, maybe there isn't another guest appearance from a legacy character that we don't know about yet. Maybe Riker, something like that.
Could be. Mike McMahon knows.
All right.
This is it.
I'm gonna turn it way down because you can't hear it, but I can. I don't want it to drown out you if you're talking.
Oh, gotcha. I wish I could hear it at the same time because the music in the trailer is so good. I just want to hear it again. Like,
yeah.
Not to mention, like, just the visual.
I don't want to get a strike, so.
Oh yeah. No. I'm just saying I wish personally, like, not to like do it, but yeah. But also just the effects are gorgeous. They're like beautiful.
Yeah, it looks very pristine. So this is the CTV Sci-Fi Channel version.
Oh, neat. We find out that the Discovery crash lands like right in the beginning.
Yeah, and okay, she gets separated.
At first, I thought that was like the Discovery's wreckage when I first saw it, and I was like, "Oh no, it got destroyed like in space." But then they showed this scene, and it made me wonder if.
See, I think there's confusion. I think there's a whole bait and switch thing here. I don't think this cutting between Burnham and the ship almost makes it look like they crash landed on the same planet, like, and she's detecting them, like her actual crew.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I have a theory. Oh, that's an interesting freeze frame.
They gave away some interesting things on the panel, though. Did you see the Discovery panel?
Well,
okay, go ahead.
You go ahead. I want to hear what.
Well, I was gonna say, like, it felt like they confirmed that, like, I guess not. It felt like to me like they did crash at the same time, but no, they just say that the ship crashes and that they need something to get it. They need something that's going to take like maybe the whole season or a big part of it to get back into space.
Do
But
you
you're right.
remember in Star Trek 2009 when Nero comes through the time portal and Spock comes through sometime later, like
That's
way
right.
later?
Yeah.
I think Burnham shows up first, and like the Discovery is nowhere to be found.
Mm.
Because I don't
That would
know.
make sense.
I think the way they're cutting the trailer almost is like a little some trickery is at foot here. Like
I would still
I
like
don't
that.
believe.
I
Yeah,
would like both. I think I'd like both scenarios. That makes sense. So if they did that, it would parallel. Interestingly, it would parallel that similar event that happened in the Kelvin films. That would be cool. Look at that volcano plate. That's like probably Iceland or someplace. It's beautiful.
I'm thinking maybe if that theory is true, which is probably not. If Discovery comes through sometime later, like she's literally waiting probably a year. Like she maybe figures out some way to
Yeah, because there's
calculate.
in that first trailer, she seems to be separated from them for a long time. You're absolutely right.
Yes,
So in the
yeah,
teaser, you're absolutely right about that. That makes sense.
and
So
then in
different
that,
planets or different parts of the same planet at different times. It could be a lot of things.
yeah, it's strange. I don't know how they're going to work that out, but it seems that perhaps maybe even for at least a few episodes, Burnham will not be with the Discovery crew.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if that theory was true, then they would have to do the whole year thing in 1 or 2 episodes because you can't have half a season where you don't see the Discovery crew arrive like 20 a year or two later. That doesn't see now I'm thinking that doesn't make sense now. See,
It could be.
it's
It
good
could
because
be. It could be that they cut it in a way that like it's kind of like a Quentin Tarantino style time loop, right? So like the events look like they're taking place at the same time, but then you realize that they're actually taking place at separate times. So there's a lot of ways you could crack that egg, I'm sure, but it just it seems like something's awry or a fish. No, that's not a real expression.
I gotta give it to the marketing. The trailer is okay, not spectacular or not like fantastic or anything.
Really? I
And
had
that's
the opposite feeling. Gets my
well,
heart racing.
yeah, different strokes for different folks.
It's true.
Uh,
Disco Void. Disco Void.
but what I'm trying to say is part of the reason is because they're not really giving anything away. This is not too far off the first teaser, and that was over a year ago. So like all this stuff has been in the can for a good long time, and they're still not showing us too much. The most they give away is the fact that Burnham does reunite with the crew, and she brings along Booker, and that her and Booker clearly are gonna fall in love and probably have babies.
And there's a cat.
Oh yes. They don't show it in the trailer though. We'll get to that.
It seemed like in the panel they were suggesting that there's something romantic going on between them. So I like that. I like the chemistry.
Well, it's
From
it would be nice for Burnham to have a relationship where the guy's not some fucking twisted Manchurian candidate Klingon.
poor Ash Tyler. Poor Ash Tyler. My mom loves Ash Tyler because he's played by Shazad Latif. She's like a huge fan of his. She would talk to him on the screen as if he could hear her. It was really weird when we were watching Star Trek Discovery season 1 and 2. She approved of him more in season 2 also. That's neat. What's going on there?
Well, I don't think this is the burn because this is being shown.
Oh, that's right. We didn't even talk about the burn. What is the burn?
It's when the galaxy got made fun of so hard it just quit.
Is that what happened?
It's like no. Actually, you know what it was? It was a rap battle between Klingons and humans that got so out of control. That's what it was called. It was called the burn.
Epic space rap battle. Do you watch Epic Rap Battles? I love that show.
I can't stand it.
The burn
Now
is
look at her.
in
Her
the
hair's so long
trailer.
there. Look.
Yeah, it's true. In
So
the trailer, the burn is what when the universe takes a left, a hard left. Is that what
a
he's
hard left, he says. Yeah.
so strange? What does that mean?
Hi guys, happy Star Trek Day.
Hi, Shishan girl. How are you? Happy
How
Star
are
Trek Day
you?
to you too.
Nice to have you here. Is that a Borg cube in the debris?
Go back.
Let's go back. Let's go back and
Let's
look.
go back and check it out. They wouldn't give away something like that. Look at the little kit. Let's see. How do I full screen us? Oh, here we go.
Oh wait, I can full screen this actual thing here. So wait,
Oh no, it's okay. I think you. Oh, okay.
No. I mean, I'm just to
Oh, look at that.
just to fill it out
I
more.
don't see the
So
Borg cube.
I don't know. It looks just like futuristic debris. I can't really make. Hold on.
There is.
I see
that's the
something up
part
around here in the top right. That could be construed as Borg.
The most defined thing looks like a saucer section to me.
Yeah, it looks.
But it looks like it could be like a propeller of some kind too. But why would you need a propeller in space? Just because it's pretty. There was another shot of debris later on, and I think maybe that's where Shishan Girl was talking about coming up in this part. Okay. Do you see a Borg cube here?
That's just right. That looks like a really like far out futuristic space station that was destroyed. Like an X.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably where Burnham and Booker go to meet the apparent hologram. I guess it would be, because obviously there wouldn't be anybody living on there. Maybe.
Oh,
So that's why a lot of people, even early on, were saying that dude was a hologram.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I agree with that. If I didn't agree with it before.
So, he's the captain.
There's Saru,
which makes sense.
Yeah, he would have taken over. By the way, you would wear even if you're acting captain, which I think, maybe he probably calls himself. You still have the 4 pips. You change your badge, I'm sure. So it makes sense. What's going on there?
I'm not sure. This is the second shot of Saru and Tilly walking into a place together in like heavy jackets. So there's a whole episode just about their adventure, which would be cool. And I'm thinking, is there a point where they're separated from the crew, or do they just go on an away mission together for some reason, or get kidnapped or something, or I don't know, or get lost? Look, and now we have, what do you think that is? What does that look like to you? It looks like a Kelpian / human or a Kelpian hybrid.
Oh, far out.
Because dude's like, I thought we'd never see you again, to Saru, I think, or something like that. Hold on, let me just turn it up so I can hear it.
He looks like something different to me.
What does he say? Hold on, one second. He says, hold on, shit. I always believed that you were out there somewhere. That you were always part of the Federation no matter what. So Kelpians, I guess he's talking about.
He could be talking about Kelpians, or just in
general, yeah.
In general, I don't know. But he's far out looking. He's cool. He's like a rocky face.
So this seems to be, if this is Starfleet here, that's a great fucking uniform, I gotta say. I love the look of this uniform.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I can hardly see any details. I'd like to see it.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Sorry about that. It's not really it's full screen.
I'll have to look at that again.
It's the best. But
I do see that. Do you think they're on a new type ship here? No, it looks like the Discovery.
Possibly. No, that is Discovery.
Cool.
And we get the return of Jet Reno.
Which I'm very excited about. I love her. I love this whole scene where they're saying, like, we've embraced.
They're all friends now. They're all familiar, and they're all cool with each other.
Time heals all wounds. This is hot.
It's like, sorry, baby, I had to take my shirt off.
Shirt off. There's
This
Giorgio. And then,
actor,
what's his name? He's awesome. I love that actor.
he's been in a few things.
He's like in everything. He's gosh, no.
He's one of those actors you know him to see him, but you never know his name.
That's not true. I should know.
It's just okay, when they were talking about the burn, they are on this strange rocky area that looks like a place in Ireland called the Burn. Isn't that where they filmed it? They did film in Europe, parts of Europe. I'm pretty sure it was Ireland, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Maybe that is exactly where it was.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, it looks beautiful, that place.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Missed these comments while we were looking at the yeah.
Oh, I saw that thing on the left. I think that was just something glinting in the light. It could be a Borg cube. It might be interesting. Was it just me, or did you guys think Frakes totally spilled the beans when he called Burnham the number one? He was. Don't you think they clarified that when they were talking about that? Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, I think Burnham is the number one of Star Trek Discovery, like in the sense that she is the lead. If there's a lead character or lead performer, it would be Sonequa Martin Green.
But don't you think when she returns to the Discovery, she would just automatically be the first officer?
She would be also, yeah, you're right. But I think that like what he was talking about in that scene was he was like, Scott Bakula was the number one on set, like the first. They set they're the leader of the troop, if you will. Like they set the stage for how everyone's going to behave. And so Patrick Stewart was that for TNG, and then he mentioned. He also mentioned Sonequa Martin Green being definitely the leader, and even all the cast referred to her as that. So I think that's what it was all about. But I would also think logically, if Saru's captain, she would definitely be his number one.
I remember where I see this guy now. He was on Homeland. He played like a conspiracy theorist guy. Brett O'Keefe. Brett O'Keefe from Homeland. Brett O'Keefe. I gotta find out the actor's name now. Brett O'Keefe, actor. Homeland, Brett O'Keefe, actor. Jake Weber. That's his name.
Weber, there he is. Okay.
Jake Weber, yeah.
Let me look him up on IMDb.
Father, he says number one on the call sheet. Every show has one.
Oh, that too. There you go. That's what it was. That's what they were talking about.
So you got Giorgio kicking some ass. She's kicking Jake Weber's ass.
He's been on everything, and then he's in a lot of movies as well. He started out in Born on the 4th of July. All right, let's go back to... Oh, that's a nice shot.
I like her hair. They're using the spore drive again. So that's going to be a thing.
Different. Look, the effect's a little different. I like it. It looks like the warp effect from the film era a little bit.
So Booker's using this sonic blaster of some sort. And boom.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh my God. She's really like excited. And I was like, is it that big of a deal? Is she looking at something else? Because I can't imagine she's reacting that enthusiastically to just people falling over. I think there's something much more spectacular that's happening.
I might react that way to a new type of
energy weapon. Not that much. Come on. I mean, look at the technology.
The discovery in space, though. So I don't know when in the show this is taking place. But what were you gonna say? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, yeah, you do see a crash land, but it's like shooting while it's landing. But perhaps
that was cool too, like a controlled landing to like create a softer or more smooth path in front of it. That's interesting.
Perhaps instead of the whole thing where they come back at a different time, maybe they Burnham and the ship show up at different places.
Yeah,
and the whole thing about Discovery for a few episodes while Burnham's doing her thing are going to be jumping from here to there looking for her. And how does Burnham end up on the Trill planet? Maybe that's after she reunites with with the crew or whatever. It's really interesting to see where it's going. And I don't think they're making the same mistake here that they did with Picard, because you go back and watch the promotional material for Picard, they show scenes from every single episode. I'm pretty sure, maybe minus one or two, but there are shots from every single of those 10 episodes in those trailers when you put them all together. And it's like really just
I
showing
can't
every
remember.
single thing. Yeah. Because I used to go back after when it got so far in the
If it was like that, I don't feel like it spoiled anything though. I didn't feel like the trailer, like the Picard trailers, didn't really give away any of the real meaty parts of the story, so I was okay with it. If it was like that, I don't mind if you want to throw everything in. But what I remember was that they only had the first like 5 or 6 episodes, maybe. No, you're right. They did like have the Jatvage, the what is it called, the admonition shots. I forgot about that. I don't know. Well, it's not important, PJ. We're talking. I'm just kidding.
It's just an observation. I mean,
we'll find out.
This is a really nice shot, though, isn't it?
It is a really nice shot.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So they're supposed to arrive at Terra Elysium. That's where they set a course for. This is the new character.
Blue DeBarrio is the actor. Is the actor's name.
Mm-hmm.
And here is a Trill. Oh, God, why can I pause this? A Trill character. I forget. I don't know if they've said the character's name. But it's played by an actor. His name is Ian Alexander, I believe.
I think. Yeah, I think you're right. And so these are the these characters in universe are going to be representing non-binary and trans peoples. So that's going to be an interesting thing. I can't wait to see how that plays out. The Trill character looks amazing. I love the tattoos.
I know if they do this is just a theory. I know if they do this, people are going to be like, how can a Trill live that long? They're not supposed to live that long because Jadzia's symbiote or symbiont or whatever you want to call it.
Symbiont.
Symbiont. Uncrypton.
Symbiont.
The robots.
The robots.
But this is the Dax. This is Dax.
I hope so.
I'm like 100% sure this is Dax.
Are you still there, Fathery? I hope 1,000,000,000% that's Dax. I would embrace Dax being in Star Trek Discovery 1,000,000%. That's pretty cool.
I forgot I left the comments up there that long. I can't stay long, but I think Michael is super happy there are other people alive on the planet, thinking it's probably her disco people. Exactly. I think
Agreed.
She just automatically assumes, okay, they're somewhere on this planet. I just need to find them. And it's like, nope, they're not anywhere around. And she's actually detecting probably Booker's people and probably the opposition who might or might not be there at the time. You know, those aliens with the cannons in their hands.
Oh, yeah.
Like the made up of the Andorian and the Cardassian. The Discovery does look cool. I think that Dax being in the Trill is very possible. Yeah, I didn't really think so at first, because I just thought, like, why would a Trill live like well over 1,000 or 1,100 years or whatever it is? And I'm like, yeah, but I guess maybe like this particular Dax symbiont is like a very old one that can, because I don't think there's been a definitive number put on how long they can live. So maybe this is new canon that they're inventing.
Or yeah, exactly. I love it. Hope it's Dax.
So they're having dinner in Saru's quarters.
In a weird way, it'd be so cool because both Jadzia's personality and Ezri's personality would be able to come to play, and you could do flashbacks to memories that the new Dax has, and Terry Farrell and Nicole DeBoer. Is that how you say her name?
I think it's Nicole DeBoer.
DeBoer could reprise their roles. You could get scenes of Esri serving on, the is it the Emmett Till is her ship?
Yeah, you could, but that would be an awful expensive flashback.
Hey,
Well, you could do it if she is indeed that, but because I noticed in the panel that
it could be
they
great.
were very careful about talking about those characters at all.
Yeah.
Of saying like anything about them, which was interesting because I was like, oh, what's the big secret here, eh?
Father says the actual Dax symbiont was born in 2016. Have they ever
I,
said how long they live? I don't know.
for some reason, I always thought it was the 1990s, but Fathery knows a lot more than I do. So
Yes, Father.
I trust him.
He's gonna be on a Question of Trek, everyone.
In one of the
In
trailers,
one
they
of the
show a cave with shiny lights on the walls. Where, oh, sorry, did you want to read it?
No, you can read it. It's fine.
They show a cave with shiny lights on the walls where the Trill are said to be born in the murky pools, which we saw in an episode of Deep Space Nine. And I'm thinking, is that the exact same place? Like
It
way,
might
way in the
be.
future? That would be
Mhm.
cool.
That would be really cool.
By the way, this Star Trek Day discussion so far has been about nothing but this Discovery trailer,
It's such a
and we will
spectacular
get to other things. But this is like I said,
uh,
this is not spectacular. It's giving you just enough to tease you, but not really like overshadow or like give away anything big.
it gives all the right little uh cues, though. I feel like you could see that Paul and Hugh seem to be happy together, whether they're they've figured out their relationship and stuff, and so whatever that is, I don't know, that looks like an endearing glance coming from Paul.
It's such a soap opera plot that they have though. It's like he died, come back.
I
He,
want to
he died, came back to life.
I
They
want to
had
offer that it was space opera, not soap
space
opera.
it's space opera.
It is
It's,
space opera,
it's space
but
soap.
I love that about space soap.
And this is interesting. We have a Vulcan well, I think this is Romulan character right here.
And another planet in the background with green, like bright green something's happening.
Wouldn't it be cool that if in this timeline the Romulan Empire is the most benevolent entity in the galaxy?
Well, the way things are headed in Star Trek Picard and what we see of the Federation and Starfleet, I wouldn't be surprised if that does end up happening.
I like this shot. This was in the first teaser of Blue de Barrios' character.
Mm-hmm.
And here we get
Is it
some like really futuristic
is it
technology. Go
a
ahead.
die or something like that? The character, what is that? Oh, cool.
What what'd you say?
The character's name was a die or a dare or
Oh
something.
yeah. I can't remember.
Let me see if I can find it. But
Yeah, I like see
what I
Booker's gonna be kicking some ass too.
mm-hmm.
He's not gonna be like what's his name?
You're so hard on Ash Tyler.
Ash
Look at
Tyler.
you. You're like,
I just
you're so mean.
I completely forgot about him, and so should Burnham.
You're like, I think that's hilarious.
So like this looks like they filmed in a street under like in a shitty part of town somewhere.
Is that an Andorian or an Orion?
Well,
That might be Orion up front.
I'm not sure.
Let's get. I think they come closer to the. And is that Giorgio?
That is Giorgio, yes.
So she'll definitely be in season 3. It looks like for quite a bit, if not. Well, I don't know when that takes. That could be episode 1. There's an
We have
Andorian.
a bearded Andorian, which I don't think
Mhm.
we've ever seen. Maybe. I don't know.
I wonder. Andorians are so cool looking. Even this redesign's not so bad.
Now here we have Burnham with the
The
futuristic
new.
Starfleet emblem. Yeah.
Do you have any way to zoom into that? Can we go really close? Do you have that ability? Probably not.
Not really. I can do this. Effects and filters, video
Oh,
effects, crop. Synchronized top and bottom. Can you see this, or is it like invisible?
Yeah, no, it shows all these tools. It's all right. You don't have to do it. We'll figure.
Actually, I am. I'm slightly zooming in as best I can.
Okay.
See it? See it zoom in?
I should just put it on my TV and look at it really close.
Now I'm gonna full screen the actual thing.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Here we go.
Oh,
I keep forgetting to hide the comments. Sorry about that.
Oh, let's see. It doesn't look anything like I thought it would.
Yeah.
Hmm.
God, she's so beautiful.
She is beautiful.
Oh my God! Am I gonna be canceled because I said that? Shit.
Why would complimenting someone's beauty cancel you?
That was a joke.
Oh, okay. That one was extreme, PJ.
Yeah.
But I get.
I'm so controversial. I'm so controversial.
Good grief. This is such a fascinating scene to me. Yes, the tree. I think
the tree of life.
I think we're gonna find out something sad, like the Earth is gone, and this is the only thing left of it is this tree. That's what it scares me. And also it's kind of beautiful, but like I hope it's not the case.
I don't know. Maybe.
Or that's the tree that grew out of Captain Pike's body when he was buried and laid to rest.
What? No, like maybe I'm thinking maybe Tilly has a relationship with the tree. It's a sentient tree. They can't have a physical relationship, obviously, but
they're tree hugging, which I loved. A tree hugger, but a stress freak.
Like, I'm gonna miss you, baby.
Stress Freak K predicts that people are gonna hate all over the new comm badge. I don't know. I don't think it looks like a Starfleet badge that we're familiar with, but we'll see. I certainly don't care for it one way or the other yet. I have to see a detailed view. There she is, Tilly hugging the tree and crying. That's what made me wonder if it's a piece of Earth, like, that was brought to this planet.
That's a good theory.
Maybe this whole like little patch of dirt and stuff was brought to another planet, and it's from Earth.
She's like, you know what would be cool? If bad lip reading did some Discovery stuff.
I wonder if that's already you mean like the official bad lip reading.
Or anybody, I don't know.
By the way, just a reminder to the audience, we have 4 people watching. So please smash the like button so that PJ could confound the algorithm if you haven't done so already.
Yes, let's take down that algorithm. Yeah.
Take it down.
This is the reuniting scene, I guess, because they're like, "Oh, Burnham, you're back. Your hair's very long. It's been a long time. We've been jumping around having adventures without you for 5 episodes now. What have you been up to?"
Is there an upgrade to the engineering? Do you see that long tube going back, or is that something else?
It looks exactly the same to me.
Oh. Oh, it's just 3K.
I had Booker's there. He's there on the ship.
Whoa, what's that there?
What are we looking at?
Millennium Falcon. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't look like that at all.
Yeah, it's something.
It's a ship. It seems like they're walking into a... Maybe. I don't know. There's that trill pool you were talking about earlier. Oh, wait. There's another shot of the badge on Saru.
So this is Blue DeBarrio, who is not a trill, but in the trill pool. So what does that mean?
I don't know. There's lightning bolts.
Ian Alexander's character is the trill. And yeah, what's with the light? Yes, I'm really curious. These are the characters I'm interested in the most, because they're purposely hiding pretty much anything about them. Just just basic descriptions, and they're not really giving anything away. And who knows if you'll see them in the first episode or not. I think maybe this season is going to be like very hyper serialized. I mean, this shot here of them kissing, this could be like the 8th episode for all we know.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, I want to see that shot again. Whatever that was.
You're such a romantic, PJ. Ew, they're kissing. Just kidding. Oh, look.
No, I don't mind some romance in Star Trek. If they need to do it right more, they fail at it a lot. I find it's always really weird and awkward, or like not interesting. But if you have two actors who have great chemistry and you can write them well, Booker and Burnham could be like the most interesting Trek couple in history, for all we know.
For all we know, it's true. Although, who's your
look?
top?
I like that. Look, they love each other already.
Okay.
Look at this.
Who's your top? Who's your top couple right now? As it stands,
Hold on, I want to hear what he said. Hold on. I want to hear what he said. I'll say what he said because you can't hear it. Sorry, just
okay.
What is he? So he says it wouldn't be worth it. Oh,
like, oops! If you didn't have to do the work, like if you something about work, and then he says it wouldn't be worth it.
Okay, that's a great. I like this font much better. Actually, it's a big improvement. Not
it's
like a huge improvement, but it's nicer looking.
It's for sure suits Discovery more just because it's the same typeface that they use on the shirts and everything, so it makes sense. Like on the it's the in-universe typeface of the lettering, I believe, on the hull of the Discovery as well. Without the little, I don't think the V has that little, slice, but that's just like that's something new for this. All right, so we saw the Discovery trailer. So overall, I loved it. I was very excited by it.
I think it's okay, and it's okay because it doesn't give a lot away. And I really like the Bond trailer that came out recently, but I'm thinking they showed me the beginning, middle, and end of that movie. You know what I mean? Like it feels like, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but it's like even the Lower Decks trailer wasn't that revealing. Like it didn't. Most of the episodes come on and it's pretty,
I love that they used the Voyager music in the beginning on that when they were showing the beauty shots of the Cerritos. That was funny.
Maybe we can see the problem with that Lower Decks thing is that it's only on Twitter. I'll see if it's on YouTube right now.
It's on I think it's on YouTube. I'm not sure. So Star Trek Day started last night at midnight Pacific time with a marathon, and they started with Enterprise, which I caught just the tail end of the episode when I woke up. Like I woke up suddenly at 4 a.m, and then afterwards they showed Caretaker, I think, the Voyager episode, and then they showed a bunch of other episodes, and I had them running in the background while I was working today. And then the panels were really interesting. The very first panel was the Star Trek Discovery panel. So right off the bat, you got that trailer and like a whole discussion about Star Trek Discovery, and it was very cool. Again, I just really think that I wrote on Star Trek Twitter, like Discovery feels like it's at home in the future. Like whatever is happening, like I have way less stress about all the things I had stress about Star Trek Discovery in season 1 and 2, being like, what's it gonna do to our beloved Star Trek story? How's it gonna change? Like, all that stuff. So I really wish that the show had kind of always started in the future, but it definitely feels like it's home, like it's where it's gonna be. And even they were saying like stuff like I think Jonathan Frakes in the Star Trek Picard panel ironically said that he felt like when he was directing Sonequa Martin Green that even she was having more fun with the role, and she said something to the effect of well, it's because my character's no longer in fear. Like she feels like her character's free of that fear. And it's true, Burnham has so much fear in season 1, and she's still a very fearful character in season 2. So I like that idea that she can return to a place, she can be in a place where she's happy, where her jerk brother isn't like giving her a hard time, or she, her lover from another universe isn't giving her a hard time. So, and then also that, she has this like terrible um murderous psychopathic boyfriend. So yeah, I think it's the tone is a lot better in season 3 with Booker being someone who's just normal. Like, I guess, and so that was cool. Sorry, now you go ahead.
But yeah, to elaborate on that, God, why is his name? Anyway, I forget the actor's name. Sorry, I'm not familiar with new actors, and it takes me a while to get to know their names.
Oh, who plays Booker? I think it's David Ayala. I have to look it up.
Aiello?
Go ahead.
Aiello. I think it's David Aiello.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But anyway, the key to making that character succeed is to make him likable. Burnham has to like him, therefore the audience has to like him. To be totally frank, I like Shazad Latif as an actor, but he's not the most likable character just because you know what he is, right? It's like that's part of it. But if it turned out that this guy was, what would be the kicker? What would be a kick in the nuts, really, or a kick in the gut, is if he's a really likable dude, Burnham falls in love with him, like, God, this is a really good guy, and he's just like betrays her at the end. You're like, oh, fuck you, fucking Discovery.
Stop it. It's Ayala. It's Ayala with a J. So
Okay.
it's David Aja.
I was thinking of another actor, another actor's name, who I know I can picture him now, and it's not the same. Yeah.
Anyways, the point is that like that would be really bad to do that to poor Burnham. Burnham's already been through so much. It's not fair. It's not nice. Let Burnham be happy, and that's the vibe I'm getting in season 3. And I don't know if they're gonna, like, if time travel is going to be a thing that happens even more. Like, is this going to be a post-Burn Federation that we're just going to have to live with? Is Earth gone? Like, are there going to be like these like crazy things? I hope Earth is not gone. I hope I'm wrong about that little idea. But anyways.
So this is the teaser for the second half of Lower Decks.
That's a really cool shot.
I like that shot. Yeah, it's nice. I'm thinking, is this a flashback to when they first go on the ship? This can't be, right?
It could be because Tendy's not in there. So if she were there, I would say, but I don't know. I don't know if it is.
It would be nice to see a flashback of them all going to the ship at the same time, which is why those particular people would be together is a bit strange. With Boimler there, I guess, being a pilot, I guess it makes sense, but whatever. But it would be cool if they kind of did the motion picture kind of thing when Scotty
is tour.
Yeah, Scotty's bringing Kirk along the side of the ship and then turning around, and they wouldn't be that slow with it, but kind of mimicking the motion picture.
And then it bumps into the nacelles.
Yeah, it's like this is like they're looking at it for the first time or something. I'm not going to put on the... Okay, I'll put on the audio. I don't know if you can hear this.
No, but I remember. I watched it a couple times.
Now we have this dog gag. This is...
Did you say warp me? This was really funny. It's like...
It's definitely inspired by John Carpenter's Vampires or something. Not Vampires, The Thing.
Oh my goodness.
Have you seen The Thing?
Such a long time ago, but yes, like
there's a very disturbing.
It gave me nightmares. It was nightmare fuel, as Kowalski likes to say.
There's a very, very disturbing dog scene in that movie.
Oh yeah, you're right.
She says, "Wake me up when I have to like deal with it."
Look at the new Klingon. Is that a new Klingon ship?
Let's go back.
It looks
different. Yes, it definitely looks like something.
Oh, cool! Look at that.
Haven't exactly seen before. It's hard to pause exactly on the right spot. It always goes like one frame over, like Damn you.
Well, that's a good shot of it. It looks like a mix between a TNG era and a like it had like a D7 or a Katinga vibe to it, but with
Oh,
TNG
you
era
son of a
nacelles.
bitch. This is going to be a game it's going to be like a Family Guy joke that goes on and on. Anyway,
Yeah,
we'll just move on. Anyway, there's Klingons beaming to the ship, and the ship is in disrepair. The captain has been stabbed. There's a lot of stuff going down.
yeah, that's really funny. This part with the the fists and the kicks. Who is that?
That is Mariner dressed up as
Oh,
Klingon.
yeah.
Well,
Look at
not
that.
well in Klingon garb, I guess.
Oh,
Seems.
wow. Would you look at that? And she's on this view screen of the Cerritos. Maybe she goes insane.
This is an interesting shot. This looks like on Earth at Boimler's house or something. You know what I mean? It looks very domestic.
Yeah, it does. I agree with that. It could be Chateau Picard.
This
Did
is
you
from the
see
next
another?
episode.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There was another person like with their head in the replicator, and the replicator was pouring straight down.
Yeah, that's some character we're going to be introduced to in the next episode. He's in the scene where they're all talking about how different ships sound, different sexy mode. So I guess he uses
sexy mode.
I guess he's using some kind of programming to attract Tendi.
Oh, maybe.
And he's like, I can't do it by myself, so I'm going to use sexy mode.
What is that? Well, I can't wait to see what sexy mode is like so I could imitate it. if it works. You got to raise an eyebrow. Sexy audience.
God, it's so hard to pause on Twitter videos when this computer. Gorns. We get some Gorns.
The panel for Lower Decks was really fun too.
Now, Boimler's a ghost. What's up with this? Is this like a next phase kind of thing?
Yeah.
He's also being chased by mutated crew member, almost like in Genesis, in the Next Generation episode Genesis. Cute. Now this could be like a stinger at the beginning of one episode or something.
It's just pretty awesome that it's him. That's so weird. The dog just turned into a cube and like kept walking. That was so funny. Oh my gosh, this show's great. The Lord. So okay, so we were talking about the panels, right? So they did Discovery, and then right after Discovery was which panel came after Discovery? By the way, Misha, Micah, is it
Nine?
Misha or Micah Burton? How do you say?
LeVar Burton's daughter.
I think it's Misha Burton.
I only discovered she existed today, and she's a great host. Mm-hmm. And I hope to see her. She could play Geordi's daughter in Star Trek very easily.
She really
could.
Be
like, and she's an actor, I guess. So,
LeVar Burton made an appearance. I knew about her because he's a very proud father, and he's tweeted about her before, and so I follow LeVar Burton's tweets a lot. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And Will Wheaton, might I add, was excellent too. He seems a lot more like natural and comfortable in his role as the host of all the Star Trek things. And he's going to do a Ready Room after every episode of Discovery, which I think is great because that was like kind of, I really enjoyed that show that Discovery had in season 1, hosted by the comedian writer After Trek. That was really fun. I wish it was, I like Will Wheaton's style where it's more of like an interview thing and it's not, it's not.
Well,
that was more like a show. the after track was more like a late night talk show type of vibe, and Will Wheaton's was more like a just here's info, direct, like type of thing, which was cool.
And there will be what is it called now? There will be a Ready Room edition after every single episode of Discovery.
Right.
I thought they were doing that with Lower Decks, but no.
Oh no, but it would have been cool if they did that, because the official Star Trek podcast is hosted by Tanya Newsom and someone else who I can't remember at the moment, because I'm an old person and I don't remember things and I didn't write it down.
What did you think of the DS9 panel?
So that's what I was going to talk about. That was pretty awesome. I really wish that Avery Brooks was more involved, because like he's just such a huge part of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and I was really hoping to hear about some kind of update for the remastering question that everyone has on their mind, and like upgrading DS9 to HD, and we didn't really get any of that. But it was always as always, it's a delight to get the actors, and I think they made a really cool case of for Deep Space Nine having more popularity now than it ever did, in terms of also like how many new fans are watching it. And then of course it was very touching that they honored Aaron Eisenberg and Renee Auberjonois, so that was pretty cool too. We didn't get Colin Meaney either. That was who was missing. It was from the people that are still alive. We didn't have Colin Meaney and we didn't have Avery Brooks, but I think everyone else was there. Siddig was there. It would have been cool, since Deep Space Nine is such a big cast, if they also included like Andrew Robinson, who plays Garrick, and Mark Alamo, who plays Gul Dukat, and maybe Louise Fletcher. Is she still around?
I believe so.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get to see Louise Fletcher come on.
Well, you're asking for a screen full of like tiny little people in like you're asking for a lot.
Yeah,
but the panels were very contained.
Yeah, it's true.
We only had a few people on each one, and it wasn't huge.
Yeah, well, I have to admit that like I loved every panel, but the one that made me sad, I guess, in a way, was the TOS panel, because it was only George Takei and Rod Roddenberry, and it would have been really nice to have gotten.
It made you sad because it was only him and Rod Roddenberry.
Yeah, and I would have liked to have seen like William Shatner. I know Nichelle Nichols is having health issues, stuff like that, and George Takei is still around. And so it would have been nice to, like, even if they weren't, let's say they can't get along with each other, it would have been cool if they just had like segments like interviewing each of them. So like maybe they don't have to like share the same screen time or whatever, but it would have been cool, in my opinion, to have
actually that. Aside from the Lower Decks panel, which is my favorite, George Takei, talking about his life, basically.
That was cool.
And the way the questions that Will Wheaton was asking him,
and that was probably the most too, actually. Yeah,
that was the most engaging part of the. It was one of the most engaging parts of the whole thing, and I've heard everything about him and his parents going to a concentration camp, and then that whole sad thing about when they got back out into the world, there was so much crime and it was so scary in Los Angeles that his little sister was like, I want to go back to the concentration camp behind the barbed wire. And like, he's like, this was my childhood. He went through a lot of shit, man. Like, out of any other Star Trek actor that I could think of, he's had the most strife. And the fact that he was, Japanese Americans were put in concentration camps in America, even though they were born there, and his father was, from San Francisco. And it's like, he's like, just because I have this face. And like, I kind of got a little emotional watching. Like, I've heard it before. There was a documentary called, what's the documentary he was in? I Am Takei, or?
Oh, I didn't even know. I don't think I've ever seen it or heard of it. Is it a new documentary?
Well, no, it came out in 2014, I believe.
Excuse me.
George Takei documentary. I gotta look this up now.
Sean is here and gone. He like came and went. I think he was here the whole time and he didn't engage with us.
It's called To Be Takei. To Be
To
to
Be
K.
to K. I've never seen that doc. I gotta watch that. Is it on like Netflix or something? He says it feels like the entire Star Trek family has decided to cancel Kirk and Shatner. I don't think that's what's going on. And then he says, I love you guys. Off to bed. Talk soon. We love you too. I love you too. I love you too. I don't think that's what's going on. I don't know, because Marina Sirtis also felt left out of this event, and she expressed it on Twitter. And I think maybe there's only,
Marina Sirtis is, she says what she thinks, and that's
she
why we love
does.
her. That's why we
So
love
does,
her.
so
So
does
like,
William
if
Shatner.
she's got some beef, like if she's gonna complain about something, and it's best
So
not to like blow it up too much, because
someone else who's very like, I think, to that I hear a lot of complaints about is Kirstie Alley. And so like there's a couple of me, but I think that they still deserve to have a voice in Star Trek. At least they do,
So
because
what's
they were
up with wanting to cancel Kirk and Shatner? What's that about?
I haven't heard anything about that, but that's how Toddy feels, how our Trek on the Tube feels, because I think he does see that he tweeted this morning, and I agreed kind of that there was no emoji for Captain Kirk, and it would have been nice. There was also no emoji for the animated series, so I did see that. I share that sentiment to a degree, because I love Captain Kirk. He's one of my favorite
But isn't
characters.
the TNG emoji Geordie?
Yeah, but then Captain Picard
And then the TOS.
gets his own emoji. Janeway got her own emoji. Archer got his own emoji, right? No, who's on Enterprise? Yeah, I think Archer got his own emoji. So every captain, and I think Cisco got his own emoji. So I think every captain. Let's go back and look at the emojis, because I
No,
can't.
I know what the emojis are. It's TOS it's Spock,
Lock.
and then
TNG was
TNG
Geordi.
it's Geordie. Deep
Right.
Space Nine is Cisco. Voyager is Janeway. Enterprise is Archer. Discovery is Burnham.
Strange New Worlds was Captain Pike.
Strange New Worlds was Captain Pike.
So there were, all the captains were there except for Captain Kirk, which I could see why someone would feel like there's a subtle message going on, but I don't know. I think it's something else. But it would have been nice if the original, the animated series did have an emoji, and it was Captain Kirk.
I've noticed some controversy about that Star Trek Day poster and how Kirk.
Oh yeah, there was also. I think that might have had something to do with it too. I didn't follow it. Are you in deep? Do you know the whole ins and outs of it? All I saw was that there's a lot of people redesigning the poster, and my favorite was General Pedrowski, who did all Ezri Dax. Like he replaced every single person on the poster with Ezri Dax, and I was like, I don't even know the whole story. I heard that like it's because of the size of Captain Kirk on the poster. He's like the smallest one, but I didn't really dive into it.
I did see a tweet. I did see somebody retweeted something with William Shatner where he zooms in on his face and like, look, there I am. And
is that right?
I think people take William Shatner way too seriously. He's just
I think
he's too old to give a shit about what anybody thinks about what he has to say, and it's almost like if he purposely defies he goes against the grain on purpose.
I also think that it's hard to sense humor on a format that's like text based, right? Like you can't really hear his tone or anything like that. Like even with the emojis he uses, sometimes you don't see what the tone is.
I won't say any names, but
go ahead.
have you ever seen somebody tweet and you get a certain impression of them, not negative or bad, just a particular impression of them based on the way they tweet, and then say you may see them in a live stream, and you're like, you're not how I pictured you would be, like when you're talking and how you're interacting with other people. Like you tweet differently than how you act in real life. You ever meet those people?
I feel like I have, in a sense, like with you guys, I kind of, having known like you and Nick and Sean and Gary, like I hear your now that I know you guys, I can't remember I thought of you before I met you on a stream, but and all of you have been on YouTube in some way or another, so you guys don't count, but like I guess a good example for me would be when I was doing the Drunk Space Nine show. There's this, well, two examples. One was this guy, Frazier, who I had only interacted with through text, and he didn't sound like what I expected him, or heard him as in my head. He sounds fine. There's nothing wrong with the way he sounds. It's just not how I thought he would sound. And the same goes for Heather, who I didn't think would sound like she sounds. I had a different voice for her in my head, and I think she doesn't like her voice, so I didn't tell her that on that episode because I didn't want her to think that but I was surprised at how she sounded. And again, she sounds perfectly pleasant and wonderful, and better than the version I heard in my head, perhaps in real life. So it was interesting. That has happened to me.
You ever watch Trek Central?
Yes.
Central.
Yes.
That was a Jack and Bree, I guess. Bree, is it?
Jack. Yes.
Captain Jack and Bree, and
sometimes Nick. Right?
Nick is on there, and there's another guy, Dom, who he's a British accent, and he showed his face for the first time in one of their live streams, and I was like, that's exactly what I thought you would look like.
That's amazing.
It's weird how like you think somebody looks like a certain way based on their voice, and couldn't possibly, you don't know, and then you see like, oh, you don't look like that, or you look exactly like that. But yeah,
I also have to say that the Star Trek Picard / TNG panel, while also delightful and also very emotional, like very cool things like learning about Will Wheaton and stuff like that, it would have been nice because it did say Picard and TNG, if like you could have had a few more folks on there too, because like I know that cast loves each other to death, so I know there's no controversy there, but I guess the budget just wasn't there, or whatever, for whatever reason. You couldn't get LeVar Burton, Gates McFadden.
yeah, I know, but you know what? If you really think about it, 2020 in terms of Star Trek cast reunions in general, there's I could be wrong, but I think there's been more interaction between not only the actors from different shows themselves on various live streams.
It's true. We certainly had.
There's been more interactions with fans than there's ever been.
Right. What was it? Comic-Con? Was it Comic-Con at home where obviously we had the TNG cast, didn't we? No, we had the whole Picard cast. What was it that TNG did a reunion recently? I forget what it was though. It was something. There's been a lot of live streams at different cons where you have seen the intermixing of all these people. It is true, but that makes me a little bit more disappointed that Star Trek for its anniversary day didn't pull out all the stops and get everyone. Really, you're getting offended by me?
I'm not getting offended.
Like, you're getting mad that I'm disappointed that not everyone wasn't there. By the way, LeVar Burton did make a cameo appearance on the that was the Lower Decks, right? That was the Lower Decks one, I think, or which one did he come on?
I'm pretty sure it was the Lower Decks one.
Yeah, I think it was. Awesome. He could have totally pulled up a chair. It's true. You already had the live feed to the house. Oh, it was that was a nice. Did you watch the Voyager panel?
I listened to it in the back. The problem was that the volume was so low, so I couldn't listen to it on my phone because if I breathed too loud, I couldn't hear it. Oh, gotcha. I don't know what was happening with the sound, and then I plugged it in like actual speakers with a subwoofer and jacked that up, and I was like, okay, this is tolerable. But then I wanted to like kind of walk around and listen, so I'm like switching between like 3 and 4 different devices trying to listen to this thing. Finally, I listened to it on my desktop, which I could get at the loudest. But then I would switch, over to TrekLad had a live stream.
Oh, that's right.
And the volume difference was like
it was a
booming. I clicked on their video and they're talking. It's like rah, 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 rah. I was like, oh shit, I forgot.
PJ, that's what our commentaries look like. That's what it's like when people have to hear. Oh no, you have to line. You get to control the volume yourself. Never mind. But that's a fun concept that we do sometimes with those commentaries.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you have a problem with it? The StarTrek.com actual thing volume being low?
No.
Did you listen to it on your phone or?
I had it in the background while I was working for most of the time, and then the Star Trek after work, after I clocked out, that's when the Star Trek Picard panel was going. Oh, and during my lunch break was the beginning of it, so I saw the Discovery panel during my lunch break. So
what did you find interesting about the Voyager panel?
well, so that one was one of the ones that I was like definitely working while it was on, so I had a similar experience to you, but I just loved that that was one where like it was almost it was a bigger cast of them together and they were all talking about their memories, and I just love that Kate Mulgrew was a part of it because I don't see her often, and I'm starting to love Voyager, and I never used to love Voyager, and I'm on season 4. I would definitely like to see Captain Admiral Janeway appear on Star Trek again, so that would be very nice to see her in season 2 of Picard, or maybe even a Voyager short trek spin-off type thing. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. I think Robert Duncan McNeil was the one who suggested that Captain Proton come back for a short treks, and I think that would be an amazing thing. Just because it kind of fits that format, right?
Well, you were disappointed in the fact that there wasn't a lot. There could be more people in the panels.
Yeah, I loved Star Trek 8. That's the only critique or disappointment that I would have, is that I wished there were more of the cast members.
But it was 3.5 hours, so that was good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But yeah, I get that. If I were to look for something that was really truly disappointing, if I could just reach for it, and I knew this wasn't going to happen, and I knew it would have been just like too good to be true. But during the DS9 panel, or even at all, just mentioning CBS is planning to go back to the negatives and remaster DS9 and Voyager and bring it to you in HD. Instead, Will Wheaton just says at the end, you can find all of these episodes on CBS All Access in stunning standard definition. No, yeah, but anyway. But see, the thing is, on Twitter,
Worlds panel too. That was a good one.
Hold on, I'm not done.
Yeah.
So
there were
a couple of days ago, I TrekCore, one of the places, they released the high-res images from the DS9 documentary, What We Left Behind, and people were just circulating them like crazy, like, oh, it looks so beautiful, remaster. I'm like, yeah, we've been saying this for a while, but I noticed a couple of days ago, people were just like,
by the way, Drunk Space Nine started the whole the original Drunk Space Nine. That was one of our 3 missions. So like back in 2016, we were all about the remastering.
Well, people 2016 people wanted DS9 remastered as soon as TNG. As soon as TNG came out, they were like, okay.
I'm just saying it was the thing that Drunk Space.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm not taking anything away from you. But it was, people just remember how, like, when TNG came out on Blu-ray, people just naturally assumed, like, we as fans, I don't know, just like, okay, yeah, obviously DS9 is next and Voyager's next.
That's 100% what I thought. When same thing here. Yeah, exactly.
Like 15 years later or whatever, however long, it's like not 15, 9 years.
What's the new hashtag? Is it just remaster it? Is that what was it, like the?
There's different ones. There's release the Cisco cut.
That's my favorite. The Cisco cut. I'm gonna keep using that one. That's amazing. Release the Cisco cut. Yeah, it needs to be remastered already. Come on. And Voyager 2.
And the argument is it costs too much money. Just to be clear, TNG cost $12 million over a 4-year period. They spent $3 million a year for 4 years scanning the negatives, and they didn't have to do a lot of visual effects reconstruction necessarily, not as much as you would in DS9, because DS9 is much more computer generated. Hold on. You want to talk about how much of a challenge DS9 would be? Fucking Voyager would be even twice as hard, because Voyager has, out of any Trek show, the most CGI. You could say you could argue Enterprise does, but I mean,
But it's
Voyager,
already HD, so you don't have to worry about Enterprise really too much.
Enterprise will need some kind of remaster down the line because
way down the line compared to like Voyager and Deep Space Nine. I feel like Enterprise. Speaking of Enterprise, I thought that was a delightful panel too. All the panels that they were really good, and I definitely like had the sentiment of like I feel like it needs a mini series or something just to kind of wrap up their story in a like fast forward to like their future, if you will, and further along their timeline. What are you looking at?
But I did. Or at least the sicko cut.
It's the Cisco cut.
The sicko cut. Can I erase that?
Yeah.
I'm going to block user. Oh, wait, no, that's me.
Don't do that. Don't do that. The Cisco cut. That's funny. He meant Cisco cut. It's here. It's here on here.
Yeah, Scott Bakula had a nice little he had a nice little speech, didn't he?
He did.
God damn, can't you just picture that cast coming back together? And it's possible. It's very, very possible for them to go back and do a short trek or anything with the Enterprise guys. Just have them going to dinner.
I think
this is all you need to do for short treks, man. Fans will forgive a lack of production value if you can just literally get two legacy characters sitting down having a beer. Isn't that true?
It is true. It's really true. That's really funny. I mean, I think that they could do. I think they could pull like it would be really nice. It would be a great like, Enterprise. Like, I mean, Archer's still around. When Kirk, like.
No, I mean. Jesus,
I'm just saying,
don't do old Archer.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that he's still around, so he spans a lot. There's a lot of adventures between where Enterprise ended, and what comes next. So there's a lot of opportunities.
Hell, you could. Now they never do it. I mean, this is not something that will ever happen. But you could even do an entire series set between. The second last and the very last episode of Enterprise, because there's a 5-year gap, right?
That's actually. I feel like wouldn't it be interesting if you could move the last episode to like you could add just a couple more seasons and move the last episode to the end of the couple of seasons, and you're right, fill in kind of like that gap between the two.
With an animated.
No, you use the crew. Just fast forward like a couple, just like I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying there.
No, I mean like in that gap between because at the season or the series finale of Enterprise, they jump ahead. I'm talking about like an anime. You can do an entire animated series of a few seasons, filling in just those gaps.
That's
I mean,
true.
there's a lot of historical gaps in Star Trek you can fill in.
Or even
totally endless.
Like I said, a mini series, a limited series, or a movie for Enterprise would be nice to see all of them come back. I think they deserve it.
What did you think of? We got to know the writers of Strange New Worlds a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Very emotional stuff. I mean, they're all just.
That was special. I felt like I'd be that person. What was his name? That writer. How he was like just crying, because he's so excited that he's on Star Trek and that like it changed his life. Like I could totally relate to that. I feel like many of us can. To that feeling, I'm not writing for Star Trek. I'm a good barista. I would make excellent coffee on the sets. So when COVID-19 is over, you guys need an on-set barista or someone to bring you sandwiches. I make really delicious paninis as well.
Did you hear the story about how Alex Kurtzman called Anson Mount when the Strange New Worlds was approved?
Oh, remind me. I kind of.
He's like, Alex Kurtzman called me eating an apple. Like, we got it. I'm like, right. Isn't that what villains do in movies?
No, Captain Kirk eats apples in movies. That's what heroes do.
actually in 2009 Star Trek, having him eat the apple on the bridge in the simulation that's a direct narrative. It's a visual thing that they do in movies to show somebody is a douchebag. If you ever watch Cinema Sins, every time he points out every time an asshole is eating an apple or someone is eating an apple while being a jerk or something. Just I'm playing around.
I hear what you're saying, but like Captain Kirk's not being an asshole; he's being clever, and I think that's what it means in Star Trek. Because in the Genesis cave, that's when he's eating the apple, and he's like, "Oh, I lied this whole time to Khan." It's only like he's like, "I don't like to lose," and he does the same thing. I thought that was cool. So yeah, whatever it means.
In Star Trek. Sometimes the apple trick is used, probably not necessarily to show somebody's an asshole or a villain, but to show cockiness. And that's a perfect example in Star Trek 2 when he's eating, I don't believe in a no-win scenario. And he's like, he's got the...
That's a good... that was a good quick accent. A quick Shatner, not accent, but a quick Shatner impression. Yes, it does show cockiness. Did you know characters eating eggs in cinema means that they're actually evil and usually associated with Satan or the devil?
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Hard-boiled eggs specifically is the trope.
Do you know everybody in a movie who goes to a supermarket and has a paper bag has to have French bread sticking out? Or else you don't know that they were at a supermarket?
Shishan Girl says, speaking of animated, how about the Lower Decks Strange New Worlds crossover? That sounds like didn't we like make a joke about that on one of these streams? I think that would be really funny.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that on the Strange New Worlds panel, it was Anson Mount, Rebecca Romaine, and Ethan Peck, but there was executive producers Akiva Goldsman and a guy I haven't seen before, Henry Alonzo Myers.
That's who it was. Who was
and co-executive producers Akila Cooper and Davey Perez.
Yeah. Michelle Paradise wasn't on that one. She was only on the Discovery one, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. Let's get to that. We got a few more comments. You just read that one. Speaking of animated. Yeah. Did anybody talk? Was that something that was hinted at? Did I miss something?
What about? Yeah, it was on the. Akiva Goldsman said that he was lobbying for the Lower Decks crossover with Strange. He wanted to get Rebecca Romaine's character and somehow joking around. I think it was all just a big joke, but he wanted to get like the two number ones together somehow, and so they were talking about that.
One of the most interesting things about that Lower Decks panel is that they didn't have any of the animation done when they shut down. They only had the animatics. They didn't have... They had a lot of the voice work, but they still had... Of course, obviously, when you do animation, you still have to do additional voice dialogue way after the fact, even after some things have been completely animated. And Jack Quaid pointed out that like the closet in the background of the shot that he was in was where he recorded his lines for the show. I'm like, that's crazy. And it looks like something that wasn't made at home. But Lower Decks is literally probably is going to go down in history as the first animated series or season of an animated series mostly produced remotely.
It's possible. That's true. Wow, that is really cool.
And that's what I find like, and
shout out to German Trekkie who does that also.
German Trekkie?
Yeah, German Trekkie has a show, like a series that he's doing, and I did the voice for Lieutenant Ross, and there's
I've seen a couple episodes of that. Yeah, I've noticed.
He coordinates that all across the world. There's writers and people working on it and performing, and it's very cool. Jesse Gender's on it, Kowalski's on it. I'm one of the voice talents. They are too. It's pretty cool. I think Trek on the Tube too. You got to get in on that. You got to get in on.
I don't know if voiceover work. It's like
you could do it. You could do it. You could do a character.
I like how Jack Quaid, his girlfriend, when they did the virtual premiere, his girlfriend turned to him and was like, "Yeah, Boimler has your body."
Tawny's partner said, "Your body's better, right? Like it's more smoking or something." It was like
No, it's just the cartoon body is an improvement over his.
It's funny. That's what it was. Jack Quaid's delightful. I love him. I haven't finished The Boys, caught up on The Boys yet. Has it gotten better than from episode 1? In fact, that's what I might do right after this. I might
let's just say episode 3. I like how the first 3 episodes are almost like a movie, and like when you get to the end of the third one, it's like the kind of climax of it all, and a bit of a cliffhanger as well. But yeah, it's a really good show. And Jack Quaid, he has some Boimler moments in the first couple episodes. You're like, I can't help but see Boimler sometimes. There's a minor, very minor spoiler for, I think it's the second or third episode
of
The Boys. Very, very minor. It has nothing to do with the overall story, but you know, he's clearly in love with Starlight, right?
Right.
And anyway, he's just talking. He's leaving a message or something. He's like, you know that Billy Joel song "Second Wind" about the guy on the bridge, and Billy Joel talks him down. That's what you are, Starlight. That's what you are. You're my second wind. I'm like, oh my God, Boimler. Bradward Boimler right here, man.
Boimler. I think Boimler is the closest to his true personality. No, I'm just kidding. Jack Quaid very confident and with it.
You wanna see a Lower Decks crossover with a live action TV show? The most logical thing is, they won't do it clearly, obviously, because I'm just hopeless. But they could do Picard season 2. Brad Boimler is the first officer or captain or whatever. 20 years down the road. Age Jack Quaid up a bit. He would look and sound exactly like him, pretty much.
Yeah, it's true.
Tawny News. Actually, you know, you look at the voice cast of Lower Decks, they're not far off their animated counterparts. It's almost as if they kind of modeled, the characters after the actors.
I mean, I feel like there's 100% resemblance. Jerry O'Connell made jokes though about his character. I mean, his character's a lot more buff than he is, but you definitely see the Jerry O'Connell like look there.
Tawny Newsome admitted to the actual cartoon Jack Ransom being hot, and that inflates Jerry O'Connell's ego or something like that.
That's really funny. It was it would have been cool also. I love the panel, but it would have been neat to have like some of the upper deckers, but I think it's great that it just, you know, I was happy with
some of the upper deckers.
Yeah, it would have been great. But yeah, it was cool.
We say senior staff.
I know. The senior staff. Get off my bridge.
Even that sounds dirty.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered
We covered everything. No, we probably didn't. We probably missed something, but who cares?
What could we
But the main Enterprise Voyager, Enterprise, DS9,
TOS,
2 trailers.
Yeah. We got everything.
There was an announcement of a new podcast or something.
Yeah, we talked about that too. It's called the Pod Directive.
The only podcasts that matter are our group. And yeah. And do you notice there's a girl on Twitter? She's very funny. Olivia.
She was on.
She always like got these smart alecky kind of comments.
She's great. She's on Twitch now. She finally did. I'm so jealous. I've been wanting to play Star Trek Online my whole life, and I'm on a Mac, so I can never play it. It's so cool.
And Trek Lad, I haven't met yet. Really,
he's cool. He's been on Starfleet Boy. I've been on Trek Lad.
I'm afraid to ask Dan Gunther, like to be a guest or anything. He'd be like,
"Why?
Sorry, you say bad words." I've heard your potty mouth, and I'm pretty PG, man.
Does Dan? I
No.
don't think Dan. I don't
I'm
know.
making fun of Dan. He's harmless. I like Dan. I've been listening to his channel, well, watching his channel for a couple of years now.
Yeah, me too. He was one of the first people I remember. I always liked Junk Ball Media for like a long, long time. They've been around for forever almost. And Trek Yards, of course, I remember when they came on the scene. I've been subscribed to them on my personal channel since like forever. Um,
I
and
think I think Mike McMahon might watch some of us or you or somebody, because he said in that panel that I've heard people say that they watch the episode one time and they like it, and then they watch it a second. I'm like, that's exactly what I've said for like 3 weeks. Like, I've
yeah,
constantly
but I feel
repeated
like
that.
it's true, but all of us, everyone's saying that. I mean, Lower Decks is just such a hit.
No,
Like,
it's
I
just
feel like
me. It's just me. He's talking about me.
I think he is. He's watching right now. He's having a
Yeah,
martini and
he's
whatnot.
one. He's one of the two viewers.
It's one of the two viewers. Mike McMahon, thanks for sticking with us through the end. Um,
This,
I think Alex Kurtzman watches all of these shows. He has a huge TV in his office, and every one of us are on there. And there's like the AI from Control will occasionally highlight a moment that he has to pay attention to from one of these 10,000 YouTube shows about Star Trek.
I don't know who has the time. Who has the time as a creator to go around to every single YouTuber? And
Look, Shishan Girl believes us. Mike's the other person in the chat. It's true.
I probably accidentally have this video open somewhere. I could be the other viewer for all I know.
Hashtag release the Cisco cut.
Okay, I'm gonna correct that now.
Right.
Hashtag.
Release it. Shishan Girl, what was your favorite? Since you're still here with us, what was your favorite thing about Star Trek Day so far? I would love to know. We can hear about your ideas and of what you thought. Did you agree with me that TOS should have had more people, more actors and stuff like that from the original series, or at least like would have been cool, PJ, just like a film, like a short film, like maybe about 4 minutes long, that like went through the entire yay Father is here too, a short film that went through the whole entire saga, or if you want to call it the universe, the Star Trek universe. I thought that was funny. Like Paramount Pictures was like, "Oh, we heard Star Trek Day is happening," and they had like a gift from beyond. They, so like everyone kind of got into it. But it would have been nice to get like I consider the Kelvin films to be a part of Star Trek Day, and it would have been nice to have a little bit of that. But I guess
they figure so many people have bitched about them over the years that would sour things, but I don't know.
really, I don't know. I feel like
it's probably a further indication that they're never going to go there again.
there's a huge group of fans that are associated with the Star Trek films, the 2009 post 2009 films, which would have been cool. Oh, Shishan Girl agrees. Definitely messed up. That a missed opportunity that they weren't a part. So.
Years ago in 1996,
By
there
the
was
way,
Go ahead.
wrote, I'm Erectu, which without the H it would be Erectu. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I couldn't unsee it. Go on. But you were saying in 2000 what?
And no, in 1996, they had a 30th anniversary special of Star Trek that aired on TV, and that was probably the most elaborate celebration of Trek that I've seen to date. They haven't had anything like that since.
I remember
even the 50th anniversary didn't have anything like that.
I remember I did a YouTube video with my friend Humbert. We did a stream where we talked about how disappointed we were at the 50th anniversary. Now this is, I think that they're just building, 55 is a big celebratory year, so maybe next year will be even bigger. Who knows? But
going back to the 30th anniversary, it was a huge special, and I remember not knowing anything about First Contact, not knowing it even existed. And they show the scene Now I'm watching this at night, not even aware that this thing was on. I caught it probably like 20, maybe 10, 20 minutes into it. I'm like, oh, I gotta leave this on, Mom. This is a Star Trek thing. She's like, okay. And then they show the clip from First Contact where uh, the Borg Queen is asking Data, is he fully functional? And she kisses him. And I remember like, there's a new Star Trek movie and there's a Borg that's about Borg stuff. And I remember just freaking the fuck out. And to this day, like no Star Trek anniversary or Star Trek Day kind of a celebration has ever really like blown my mind. Like the biggest thing in recent years was the announcement that Patrick Stewart was coming back. Patrick Stewart was coming back as a Picard. Like that was crazy. And then the other thing was Strange New Worlds. And you can't expect like monumental announcements every time or anything. But yeah, I get what you're saying about there not being a hell of a lot of people in each panel. But then again, we've seen lots of interactions with.
You're right. There's been a lot of like extra stuff throughout the whole year. We've seen them. Like I even attended Gates McFadden's acting master class, and I got to have like a small group of people and myself just like
That's awesome.
Doing this. So like, yeah, you're 100% right. Like I'm not, it's not.
Did you teach how to dance?
I wish I had asked that question. That's really funny. But like, I would say that like, it just felt like this is the year that like I wanted all that. But again, not a huge complaint, just saying if I had to pick one thing, like reach for it, it's those two things, like not getting a Deep Space Nine remaster / Voyager remaster announcement, or even like just like a conversation about it. And it's like no one even Stephen Ira Bear, Stephen Bear, Stephen. Jeez, I always do that, but he didn't even mention it. Like
Ira Stephen Bear.
Stephen Bear, thank you. Yeah, I do agree with Shishan Girl though. I found myself teary-eyed during that, and a lot of other times too, actually.
Yeah, it's like the DS9 panel. They were literally talking about two friends and cast members that had passed, and it wasn't as emotional as the Strange New Worlds people just talking about their writing and stuff, which I guess was okay. I didn't quite feel what they were feeling. Well, I get where they're coming from. But yeah, I gotta say, if any emotion was stirred up in me, it was when George Takei was talking. And I've heard him tell that story before, but just when people talk about when people give their sad stories, it's like that episode of Seinfeld when George tells the story of his life to get an apartment. Do you remember that? And by the end, they're all just bawling, and they're like, "You can have it," to gain their sympathy and stuff. But yeah, it's George's story is so sad, and yeah, I would have liked seeing Shatner, but it's like I don't know. I think Shatner's over it. Shatner's over all of that.
I mean, he's definitely made statements to the effect of like, that he doesn't.
He's been over for years.
But at the same time,
on and off. Sorry, go ahead.
I think at the same time, like, while that may be the case, who knows? I get, with all due respect to Mr. Shatner, we're not over you as fans. You know what I mean? Like, he might be over it, but like as a fan, I would value, a perspective from him and many others, not just Shatner. It's not about Shatner. It's about like all the others who are missing. And again, like I said, I saw that, Marina Sirtis kind of like was like a little like, hey, where was my invitation? And she was probably joking also. I'm sure all these, I hope at least.
I mean, we've got our fill of Trek actors for the year.
Is that how you feel sometimes when I have like Sean on? Do you feel like where was my invite? Like when you're not on Starfleet Boy, or when I'm not on?
I don't think that way, because
I feel that way. I'm like, where was my invite? Like I get it. Like I get how Marina Sirtis feels.
No, I don't think that way, because if you want me to come on your channel, you'll just send me the link. You'll be like, here you go. Hop on if you want.
No, like I said, it wasn't like it's not like cancel Star Trek's Star Trek Day because they weren't on. It's not like that kind of a sentiment. It was just like, it would have been nice to have a few more folks out there. Especially, I stand for Gates McFadden a lot, and I'd like to have seen her. It would have been really cool. But they could be keeping some secrets for Picard season 2, so who knows?
I mean, William Shatner has explored himself, his character of Kirk, through various mediums, and he's done documentaries like The Captains is one of the best. I think my favorite, where he just goes and interviews Patrick Stewart, Kate Mulgrew, and it's the last time Avery Brooks has like a full interview about Star Trek. That's the last time you see him, and he's just kooky and crazy, and like it's almost even with Avery Brooks, it's like he's over it. He said everything he could about it. Like it's like Shatner sold, and I was like, I've talked about it.
This was Father's asking, when was there a bigger Star Trek Day celebration? Never, because this is the first, right? Like, so technically, you're right. It is the biggest Star Trek Day celebration, right? Wasn't this the first official Star Trek Day celebration? I mean, the 25th anniversary special and the 30th anniversary special, there wasn't like a Star Trek Day theme to it. It was more.
This is the first I've heard of anybody. Talk about Star Trek Day. Yeah, this is the first.
There was I think last year I saw a bunch of performers, maybe Kate Mulgrew was the one I remember tweeting a Star Trek Day thing last year where it had a rainbow. It was a cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
But the whole hashtag Star Trek Day thing, I've only
this is the first official, and that's a again, I guess that's how we started talking about it. Was the emojis, aside from there not being a Captain Kirk emoji, it was cool that there were all these new emojis, and they last forever now, right? Like, so anytime we type, and I love that they work for the like when you do Star Trek TNG or Star Trek The Next Generation, they work for both versions of it, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I tested that out earlier. I was like, does it work this way? And it works both ways.
It works both ways. It's pretty cool. And again, I sent out a heartfelt thanks on Twitter to everyone involved in Star Trek Day. As a fan, it was just like, probably the coolest day I've had, in this whole pandemic, in terms of like just celebrating something that I love very much. And I felt it. And like just watching online and then also seeing everyone's tweets, and like there's still, even when we're done with this, I'm going to go back onto Twitter and just check it out and see what's going on. And there's a very cool cause that goes with it, which is related to the Black Lives Matter movement. So that's what the hashtag Star Trek United Give is for. And I personally plan to go onto there and give a donation. But Star Trek's giving $1 per every single person who tweets and uses that hashtag. It's not per every use, so maybe it is per every use, but that's why I hope we get it trending so that, like, potentially Star Trek will give like millions of dollars to this cause, which is pretty cool and very important in the United States right now, and probably around the world.
And I think, I don't know if it was Will Wheaton who said it in the panel, or somebody said it. Whoever said it, I don't know, but they basically said now is the time we need Trek the most.
Yeah,
because it's bugging me now. I can't remember who said it, but they talked about no, I think it was Archer or what's his name, Scott Bakula. It's letting us know that no matter what, we'll get there. Like, it's about like everything that we're going to go through and all the shit, that we're eventually going to get to that place where we're united as a species, and then have other species to be prejudiced against, like McCoy, like with the Vulcans. It's like we get rid of our human racism, but then we expand it out to other species. Hey, Vulcan mind, you green-blooded hobgoblin.
That's where real life will be better than Star Trek. So that's the good part, because we'll have learned from Star Trek how to be even better than Star Trek, which is cool.
They do deal with speciesism, I guess, in that O'Brien episode of TNG with the Cardassian. He has to deal with his prejudice against the Cardassians. So yeah, all that's an allegory for just modern day racial tension and whatnot. And it seems like Strange New Worlds is going to go back to that original format of kind of sneaking in very progressive, or I guess like enlightened ideas, or reflecting what's going on in society today. And there was another thing said in the panel. I'm not sure who said it and where it was, but they're talking about how Trek always, I think it was Will Wheaton, is like how back in the day they used to just, it was the TOS one when he's talking to George Takei, where he's like, Trek just used to sneak in those things. And they also addressed the fact that why they couldn't have a gay character back then. And George did go to Gene, and Gene's like, listen, man, I just want to stay in the air. They even like just even pushing the envelope of having Kirk and Uhura kiss, having that blacked out in certain states in the United States, which is like, that was enough to almost like cause upheaval. And then you want to put a gay character back then. It's like, if they could have, they would have. And it's just, you have to understand that everything is a product of its time. And TNG took it a step further by making kind of certain men in the background a bit androgynous by having them wear skirts or something like that.
Scants.
But now you're getting that even further representation of, like, when I was a kid, I didn't, and even just like 10 years ago, I didn't know what non-binary meant. I had no idea that was even a thing that could exist. Because
I only learned about
it.
I just learned about it 5 years ago.
I learned. You know where I learned about it? Shameless. There's an episode of Shameless where Ethan meets up with this LGBT crew, and they're explaining to him like pronouns and like what transgender is versus non-binary versus gay versus queer. And I was like, I didn't know all this stuff. Are they making this up for the show, or is this a real thing? I honestly didn't know. And then, of course, yeah. And like how I understand people get really angry. I don't want to play the pronoun game. I don't want to refer to somebody as they, because that means plural. It's like, just get over it. Just fucking deal with it. This is the future.
Well, when we're speaking of people, often we use the word they to refer to them in especially when we're telling a story. Like I think way before, there was the whole idea of like using a neutral or a non-binary pronoun. People like, I would say like my father, and mother, like, well, not that is plural, but like I remember just saying like, they went to the store for one person sometimes too, if I didn't know the gender, and so that's kind of an acceptable thing.
Yeah, and
I love what Father said here.
Go ahead.
Oh, I get you. Today it felt like Star Trek was the biggest it has been since the 90s. This was the first time I felt it was as huge as when we had 52 episodes a year and a movie every 2 years. It was a really big day. You're absolutely right. And Father released his uncut "What Star Trek Means to Me" video, which is pretty cool. So go check that out.
I should release mine too.
You should. I have mine somewhere.
You know what mine is? All it is. Kowalski only used. Well, I'm glad he used 2 segments of my little short thing, but the word everything he used, and means to me. Everything and means to me is what he used. But what I got
something like that too.
What I said was, what Star Trek means to me, everything. I'm serious. Without it, I don't know where I'd be, or something like that. That's all I said. But yeah, that was a good video. You should go back and check that out again. Because
we should retweet it on Star Trek Day. I think that was a Star Trek Day video, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we should totally retweet that. Go find it. George
swam up Gene. This is one of the most infamous Hollywood parties that I saw in that Netflix Hollywood movie.
Wasn't it a Hollywood show, which was very hot? I like that show a lot. I like
Can somebody explain what this means? What George swam up Gene? What does that mean?
Like at a party, like when you swim upstream. I don't know. Stress-free K, could you explain yourself? I agree with Fathery. Plus, Trek is pretty much the only new thing. We got scans. The only new thing happening with all of Hollywood and entertainment shut down. That's kind of what it feels like from my Star Trek Trekkie lens, but I don't think that's true.
Yeah, Trek is on a roll, and it hasn't been this heavy into production in multiple shows or anything since the
Oh,
90s.
swam up to Gina at the party. Okay, thank you.
Swam up to Gene at the party. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't
I'm
mean
like, he swam up him?
to. I don't even want to talk about that any further. It's too literal for me. But you were saying it feels like a lot was put out today, right? Like it was definitely
Well,
a lot of effort was put
it's
into
not
it.
even about today. It's just currently everything that's in production and everything that's about to come out. And, you know, I don't want to bring down the mood or anything, but when all this shit, COVID shit goes away, if it does, or we get vaccinated and we can go back to normal, I mean, obviously there's movies being produced now, and TV shows are going back into production. But when they can get fully going again, uh, with Strange New Worlds and most likely the fourth season of Discovery now, which seems to be like it's going to be happening. Seems like it's going to be a short thing. They're just going to go full force in 2021, 22, and 23. It's just like Trek, 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 Trek. And it's almost better that the saturation of it all, to use, for lack of a better word, is not going to be like it was with Star Wars in terms of movies. I think Star Wars' mistake was pushing out too many movies too fast, and not some of them not being up very high quality. Like Solo to me was like kind of like a TV movie. Like you probably should have made that like a mini series maybe, and it probably would have been more better received. But the fact that all this Trek's coming out and it's produced at such a high level for television, that maybe as a movie or a movie series probably wouldn't necessarily pass, I guess. But the fact that we're getting this high quality kind of cinematic storytelling on TV, uh, I think Trek right now is basically what I'm trying to say is Trek benefits more from television right now than it ever has.
Yeah.
To make a long story short, to make a long drawn out point more
I
concise.
thought it was interesting. I think it's interesting that yeah, the modern era, the new era of Star Trek is definitely the best in terms of production value, in terms of like everything. Like I think that like
not everything. Not everything.
Well, I have to say that like the argument there is that it could be eventually seen as something that was like really extraordinary. Again, I think Discovery finding its home finally in the future will take a lot of pressure off of that show. I did, like I think it was Universe. What's that?
No, go ahead. I was just.
I think that like that'll give that show a lot more, opportunity to like kind of become a better, like, a better show than it has been. It doesn't have the restriction, everything they've been saying. Like I agree with it. Doesn't have the restrictions of like canon and all that stuff. Star Trek Picard, love it or hate it. It's cool. Like I've never heard, like again, a franchise going back to one of its, seminal characters and telling a story in this way, like over a 10 episode series. Even if we'd only gotten one season of Star Trek Picard, I think that's pretty impressive. And then Lower Decks was just a surprise out of nowhere, and it's something entirely new. It just feels so new and fresh, set in the background that we're all very familiar with, and I love it. I love Lower Decks a lot. Like it's really kind of the standout or the star of this whole modern Trek era. I think Lower Decks kind of like, and not to, and so Sean doesn't get mad at me. Short Trek still has so much potential to become something more than it is. Like it's, to me, it's one of the most exciting shows as well, because it can hop around anywhere, and it has done. Now we've already seen it do that when we got that episode of Short Treks that took place during the Star Trek Picard era. It's like, oh yeah, it's not just a Discovery extra show. It's not just, it can hop around to all kinds of Star Trek. So it's a neat time for it. Is I won't say it's the best time because it's still going on, but it's one of the most exciting times in Star Trek that I've felt as a fan since TNG, DS9, and Voyager were on TV. So I agree with
It,
Fathery.
it was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. Stupid monkey. Speaking of The Simpsons, Stress Free Cray says even Lower Decks is top shelf Simpsons level entertainment. Yeah, I agree. It's and I know they're like in terms of hardcore fans, Lower Decks might not be the favorite of current Trek because I think there was a poll somebody put out and Lower Decks was like it was like Picard Discovery with a top, more favored. But I think Lower Decks has the most widely generally what am I trying to say here? It has
The
the most
widest
broad.
appeal,
It has the most
the
broad,
broadest
yeah,
appeal. Yeah.
broadest appeal of for non-Trek fans. Not to say that it's made for non-Trek fans. It is actually very, very, very much made for fans. In so much so that it's like just packed with
It's
references,
dripping
with references that if a normal person watched it and enjoyed it for what it was, they totally wouldn't understand like most of what the subtle references if they didn't really watch the other shows. You could just enjoy it for what it is. And that's where I think that succeeds. And even Mike McMahon acknowledges like I'm glad the show is like being well received and people are loving it. And I really want to see I don't want him to like leave Lower Decks, but give Mike McMahon some kind of live action short Trek project or to start off with, or just to give him something live action to sink his teeth into in and around that era and see what he does with it, because he's a stickler for visual canon and detail. And I think the Viacom CBS, or at least Kurtzman, is starting to realize in response to Lower Decks, just from a visual continuity standpoint, that that matters a lot to people.
Well, here's the reason why it's so important is because you have a 50-year-old franchise where people have subconsciously seen and have an idea of what Star Trek looks like. And like, yeah, new fans won't care, but that's exactly why you want to do it for the fans that are there, because you don't want to lose like a huge segment of your audience where they're straining to wonder how does this fit into all the things I've seen before, like. And I guess on the one hand, I've joined this movement of like, let's treat Star Trek like jazz. I actually watched Star Trek Discovery season 1 and 2, and I no longer care. I had so many qualms about, I don't care anymore. I accept it. I've actually gotten over it. It took me like whatever amount of years, 3 or 4 years, but I'm completely over it, and I don't care anymore. When I watch Star Trek Discovery season 1 now, I don't even notice anything. The Klingons still stand out a little bit to me, but other than that, like everything's just like, okay, whatever. This is pre-TOS. I get it. In the Discovery era, like whatever. I've somehow rationalized it in my mind, but it would have been so much more satisfying and surprising and delightful if the show didn't make me work that hard to like not care anymore about the visual. Yeah. I do think that like the one place that I think where the thing is that like artists should be allowed to improvise and improve and things like that, but that's why I'm always like a fan of like, just set the show in the future, like you can do whatever, like like whatever you want. And so I think that again, it took Star Trek, I think, a hard road to get there too, because the Kelvin films were wildly successful from what I understand, compared to expectations, perhaps. No, they weren't.
Here's the problem with the Kelvin films is that they're not as successful as people almost said successful, like they suck.
They suck success. Well, regardless, they
suck sex. But
regardless of whether I think at least in my personal circles, a lot of people who don't know the rest of Star Trek, they're like, oh yeah, Star Trek, those movies from 2000. Yeah. Like, so a lot of people did go, like, it was a great entry point for Star Trek. So I think like it makes sense that the powers that be were like, oh, people like to go in the past. They love that like era. They want that like same thing. And I think that's where like they got it wrong. And again, that's why I'm so excited about Star Trek Discovery Disco season 3 is, I'm just so excited about it because I think again the show has such great performers, it has great writers, it has great directors. The production value is astonishingly good. So now that it's set free, so to speak, and it's not living under the fear of the fandom, critiquing every tiny little thing about the visuals, I think it'll really thrive.
Fathery says Trek was created to be a series of different adventures. TOS had something new every week. They designed a rich universe full of multiple stories, great for spinning off new stories or new shows and movies. Yes, that's correct. That's what I'm hoping from this television universe that we have now, that it is or gets to a point where it is successful enough for Viacom CBS to say, you know what, the next movie should just be a continuation of what we're doing on TV. Let's just put like a great amount of effort into a big bombastic action set piece that is set between this 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds. Like, just imagine, like, that's a very difficult thing to do. But if you delay production or if you hold production back for the television season after the movie, so you don't have the actors completely exhausted doing a season of a TV show, then a movie, then the next season. You could take a little break even, but spin off from the TV shows. Don't create another cinematic universe separate from what we're seeing now, because if the momentum keeps up in the television side of it, then it's only logical, I think, just to spin it off and do feature films whenever we can get the fuck back to a goddamn movie theater, because so
again, I'm torn because I love those Kelvin films. Not, there's something about them that has a lot of heart. And that's why I like them. But yeah, I would like to see them have a sign off of, or like just a final adventure, which, by the way, reminds me, I know that like a lot of people disagree with this and it's controversial, but I believe that Timothée Chalamet can play the role of Chekhov and continue where Anton Yelchin, not continue, to be his successor, not his replacement. No. So that would be a cool thing.
The Kelvin movies are done, and I know because I say that I'm lumped into the haters. Like, I must hate Star Trek.
You're such a hater, PJ.
I'm a hater because I don't think Kelvin.
Get the fuck out of here. Sorry.
I just want to tell everybody, stop trying to make Kelvin happen. Okay, I only have a couple more minutes here, so we'll go through these questions, or not questions, comments.
I agree that yes.
Yes, that Lower Decks panel was so enjoyable. Younger adults just seem more natural on a Zoom platform. They seem at home. Yes, that's true. I like how Tawny Newsome, and they were joking around, but Tawny Newsome was talking about how she loves the design of the Lower Decks ship, and she loves that TNG era. It's very comforting. It's like a warm nostalgia blanket, basically. So yeah,
warm blanket.
Do you want to read that? Want to go comment for comment? You read this one.
I'd love to see Mike McMahon running everything. I read this earlier and it was really funny, but he would totally try to get himself demoted back to showrunner of Lower Decks. I was going to say earlier that there's some people comparing him to Dave Filoni on the other franchise, and I agree with that. I think he's kind of like the Dave Filoni of Star Trek. Potentially, he has the potential to be that person. He's the Mike McMahon of Star Trek, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
His
father saying a TOS spinoff like Abe Lincoln in space would be something that people are waiting for.
100% think there's a huge market for that one. Stress Free K, that's hilarious.
We've had 2 Abe Lincoln references in recent times. One in the Short Trek, Ephraim and Dot, and Moist Vessel. There's a reference to Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. McMahon has the Lower Decks blue-collar ethic flowing in his veins. Yeah. I really like Mike McMahon. He's the only showrunner in a long time where I like listening to him. I like listening to what he has to say, and his love and enthusiasm for the franchise is so obvious. So yeah,
the work speaks for itself. The running of the show is very good. Yeah. Who runs Star Trek Picard? Akiva Goldsman and
Terry Matalas is going to be the showrunner for season
but
2.
who was the season 1 showrunner? It was Chabon.
Michael Chabon.
I liked Chabon's
Chabon.
Chabon.
Shabona.
I liked his show running too. I had as you know, I had very few complaints about Star Trek Picard. I thought it was great. And then just from like an in-universe perspective, outside of the Star Trek Discovery shuttle being so prominent, I thought there should have been a mix of other ones, but that's the only thing I can think of right now that I really had a problem with outside of that. So Chabon did a great job as well as a showrunner.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more Trek in 2021, and we're still getting Trek for the rest of the year, so that's awesome as well.
So
we
exciting!
Got five episodes of Lower Decks, and then 13 episodes of Discovery?
Star Trek Discovery, yeah. So exciting. We'll see everybody on Thursday.
Yes,
all of us. Are you gonna do your commentary thing that you do? It's pretty cool.
Probably, yeah.
Awesome.
See, I do want to do a review and then a discussion because it's like kind of redundant. So I was like, do something different with the commentary, which is like fine. I know a lot of people aren't into it, which is cool, but I actually get, when I look at the analytics, most people just watch the discussions I have. Like, people watch them pretty attentively, I find, for my particular channel. I know a lot of people are doing a lot better than I am, but I'm very grateful to have all you great YouTubers as guests. So that's awesome.
Same, ditto. And we have like some pretty cool regulars that come on all of our shows, like Stress Free K. You would not watch a Raffi 709 spinoff.
I would. All right, that's a perfect note to end it on there, folks.
I agree.
Tell us what you thought of the Star Trek Day panel below in the comments, and until next time, folks.
Happy Star Trek Day, PJ.
I can't do the left hand.
Happy Star Trek Day, PJ.
I can't do it. Happy Star Trek
Day, audience.
Day, everybody, and you, Father Ian. And yeah.